Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. Um, I I have a long history of chronic eczema, and for the first time in 31 years, I had relief at the end of last year. At the beginning of the summer, when I last year when I started taking Rinvoq, which is a immunosuppressant. My eczema was so bad. If you know me well, you know that I wasn't really able to eat, move, leave the house. And I still was doing those things. I had applied for disability multiple times, and I actually got very close in the process. But by the time I got to the end, I went from doctor to doctor. Insurance providers were needing all sorts of letters to cover all the medications I was on. And I tried Ayurveda and homeopathic medicine. And if you know me personally, you know the journey I've been on with my anaphylaxis and the eczema. um, Recently I kind of had like a respite from the healthcare system because of the medication working, and finally I was able to operate not in survival mode. I started working on my business. I started focusing on my job and my health and my home and my music, and everything has been growing in my life as a result of getting a handle on my healthcare. Now, I recently had an insurance change from my employer, and because of that, I've been jumping from specialty pharmacy to specialty pharmacy to specialty pharmacy. Now, if you don't know what specialty pharmacies are designed for special drugs that are really fancy. And these pharmaceutical companies contract out with these specialty pharmacies, apparently because they're so rare and they're so difficult and so expensive to make, that regular pharmacies don't process them in the speed or in the capacity that they have, or in the because they're so expensive, they don't want these like regular local pharmacies to have access to them, I guess. I don't know. So get this: Walgreens specialty pharmacy. I was at Costco specialty pharmacy. Costco specialty pharmacy surprisingly did really well with getting my shit together, getting the insurance info. Prior authorization has to be approved by the doctor from the insurance provider. So on the one end, I had already done prior authorization from my previous insurance fucking provider, and I have to do that fucking process again. And I have to do that fucking process again. And not only that, the specialty pharmacy needs the script from the doctor. Okay, great. So I sent the doctor a note. Please send this prescription to another doctor. Walgreens Specialty Pharmacy has access to my files from when I was 5 years old, which, by the way, is fucking creepy. They had all of this information. Don't get me started on this. Doctors that I had that I was using, and when I was very, very young, they were like, "Is this your address?" And I'm like, "No, this is not my address. You have the wrong information." Not only that, the insurance that they contracted with, the insurance company told me, "You're with Walgreens Specialty Pharmacy." Great. I call Walgreens Specialty Pharmacy. I set up an account. I fix my address. Then, okay, oh, you're going to need a savings account for this. Oh, what does that mean? It means even with insurance, the cost for this medication is still $800. So if you need this medication, you need to call Rinvoq. Rinvoq is the fucking pharmaceutical company that creates, that manufactures these drugs. The pharmaceutical company has to, get this, they have their own insurance program. Everybody has their fucking insurance program where they have a savings card where patients should not feel the burden of picking up the cost of their healthcare. Great. So thank you. Thank you so much. All the fucking money you make. Thank you so much for the tiny fraction of community service you do for us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for creating the problem in the water and in the food and then providing us with the solution. Oh, but get this, you have to Sign up for an account with the savings account, the savings program. And you need to make sure that the insurance provider has access to this information and that the provider has access to the information. And we haven't even started talking about pharmacy benefits. Oh, just wait till we start talking about pharmacy benefits. And don't get me started on the specialty pharmacies' need for the specific labs that they don't have access to, even though the provider sends it to them directly. No, no, no. The provider prescribes the prescription. The prescription should have the fucking lab results attached to them. But guess what? They're not. Instead, they are in a separate system. So I have to call fucking Quest Diagnostics, make sure that Quest Diagnostics also sends this fucking lab results to, get this, not just the pharmacy, not just the insurance provider, but also the provider. The provider doesn't get access to these Quest diagnostic lab results. I have to hold all this information, which is great. A patient should have access to their own records, but none of it is centralized. None of it is actually in our own hands. If I want to have my prescription, I can't own it. I am at the mercy of all of these gigantic conglomerate institutions that own each other, that do not let any access to patients. So when you tell me, oh, thank you, savings card, we're going to get you down to $0 copay. Okay, fantastic. But I just spent 6 hours every day this week talking to pharmacies, talking to the fucking insurance company, talking to the providers, trying to get a hold of the providers, sending the medicine to the wrong provider, pharmacy, because one pharmacy told me, oh, this pharmacy will take you. Okay, I will take you to I will call the second pharmacy. The second pharmacy is saying, oh, you're going to have to call specialty pharmacy. I thought this was specialty pharmacy. No, there's a general specialty pharmacy and then there's a local specialty pharmacy. God forbid. Oh, I thought the benefit of having these massive corporations is they have all your data and they centralize everything. But no, no, no. They don't do that. They only centralize the data for their own internal world. And even the specific workers, don't get me started on the workers' treatment. Don't get me started on what the workers probably have to experience on the customer service standpoint, because these companies continue to make millions and millions and millions of dollars off the backs of sick people, okay, who are desperate. I am desperate for this medication. I will do anything for this medication. I have never thought like this. I have never thought like this because nobody knows what I was going through. Everybody who does know what I was going through knows that it was not real me. It was not real me. It was me in pain. And I told myself I was tired and I was done living in pain. And God is my witness. God is my witness. I will not go back to that place. God is my witness. This healthcare system must go down. And my health is my right. My health is my right. So if there's a drug out there that can save my life, I have a right to it without all of this bullshit. I have a right to it. And I am so tired. I've been fighting for a healthcare system that's free and available and accessible since I was a child, because I have been a patient in this fucking industry. It is an industry. You have to navigate it. And I have 2 degrees. And I have 2 degrees, okay? And I worked in the healthcare world. I worked in the healthcare world. And the fact that I have to navigate it in this way is insane. So I don't have a request to you. All I can say is that most Americans don't believe in this healthcare system because it doesn't make any sense. And this is just one of the systems of what is happening in our country. Companies, monopolies are taking your human rights. Do you understand? Do not let this shit glaze over. A government is not allowed to treat its human beings like this. And what I mean by that is if a monopoly is overstepping into your rights, which we're not even going to talk about the impacts of capitalism on the human being and the human psyche. Forget that for a moment. But the invasion of your time, the invasion of your energy, the implantation of the anger, which I don't normally feel. Yes, I am angry and sad about my sickness, but more than that, I am grateful. I am grateful for the drug provider, for not the provider. I'm grateful for the provider even, who was gentle with me and helped me re-prescribe this medication. I'm grateful for anybody who packs the pills, and anybody, the FedEx driver, and don't get me started on FedEx. Okay, we have to divest from FedEx too. Okay, we need our own healthcare systems. We need to figure out how to get access to these crazy, insane drugs and healthcare procedures without these systems. And I don't know the solution to this. I don't know what revolution looks like in the healthcare system. I just know that as a patient, I am completely disconnected from my own health. I am so desperate, and I feel like I idol worship these pharmaceutical companies, and look at their presence in advertising. Look at their presence on our screens. How they claim to be these heaven sent miracles. They're challenging the spirit's natural ability to heal itself. Yes, I did the natural shit. And I've always believed that a modern and traditional combination is what's important. So I continue my natural medicines while I'm doing this pharmaceutical bullshit. But in the process, the natural medicines have never, ever, ever put me in this type of position where I question my own sanity. In fact, they do the opposite. They empower me more. That is the difference. One keeps you sick, and one makes you want to feel better, and one makes you want to heal. That, the healthcare system that we're in right now, I am dependent on those drugs. But a natural healthcare system would never do that to me. Earth would never do that to me, because Earth knows if I don't rely on Earth, I can rely on water. If I don't rely on water, I can rely on heat. If I don't rely on heat, I can rely on wind. There are always options. Herbs provide options. Oh, this is too much. You're maybe taking too much nettle. Maybe you should switch it out for lavender. Or maybe your heat is too high, so you need to do some more turmeric and black pepper. Yes, we haven't allowed natural healthcare to really develop in its scientific process. Because I believe that if we had allowed Chinese medicine to be appreciated, if we had allowed Ayurveda to be appreciated, the way it is in India, by the way. In India, the healthcare system has its flaws. But when you go to the PT, as my mom went to the PT, they were healing her knee. But as they were doing that, they also did Reiki on her knee. They did Reiki in the middle of a hospital PT office. And get this, in addition to the treatment that she was receiving, the natural healthcare actually supported her. The spiritual healthcare actually supported her and empowered her. It empowered me as someone that was witnessing it. I wanted to do more of that for her. I wanted to help her heal long-term more. Whereas the drugs do not give you empowerment. They give you dependence. And every time I look at those fucking pill bottles, I just feel so stupid. Like, how could I give my liberty and my life away? And one day, I hope I can live without them. All of them. And more than anything, I hope that if we continue down this path of scientific excellence and more drugs to elongate life, to relieve pain, whatever it is, right? We do it in a way that honors the human being and honors human life and honors human time. I have 2 degrees and I can't figure this out. Think about a mom with 5 kids and a job and can't speak English and is having trouble balancing everything. She's going to get late on her medication. And in that way, that is discrimination. That is prejudice. That is class imbalance. Because people who can't afford it because of their time die faster, or they have more pain. They don't have access to the medicines that they need. So on the one hand, is it good that we have more access? Is it good that we have become more dependent and more reliant? How do we balance this new pharmaceutical industry, and not industry, but how do we balance the scientific innovation with what is actually going to heal us, which is inner reflection, which is self-love? To be very clear, my healing journey started internally. I only found this medication. I only found this medication because I said, I am tired of this. I am done. I submitted to the universe and I said, this is not my life. I don't want this. That choice is what manifested that medicine. You might think I'm crazy for this. I don't care. I don't care. I know it's real. I know it's real. All of these medications have come and gone. I have tried all of them. But finally, when it was to the point where I was giving up on life, I said, I am done. I submit. I release. I release my attachment to pain. I release my attachment to my childhood trauma. I release it all. And within months, within months, a new drug popped out. A friend of a friend of a friend told me there was a doctor at this university. Don't get me started. It was Columbia. It was a nightmare. They did a clinical trial on me. The clinical trial they did without getting consent. I have proof of all of this. I don't care. I worked in clinical trials, so I know what I'm talking about. When I talk about informed consent, I didn't get that properly. Anyway, I got access to this drug before it was on the market, basically. And now it's blowing up. Now everybody's like, oh my God. I got it at the right time because I was open to what the universe was going to offer me. So thank you so much for listening. I don't know where I'm going to post this. I'll probably post it on YouTube. And I have to now follow up with the doctor's office and make sure they're sending it to the right pharmacy. I'd like to support the little guy, Credo, but they've been fucking annoying about urgency. Like they're not taking it seriously, the timeline. So, and then these are human beings on the other side of the line. You don't want to hurt while you're trying to heal. You don't want to hurt other people in the process of trying to heal. Right? You don't want to get mad at these customer service agents. They're just trying to put food on their table. But it's not their fault. It's not their fault that this shit is stupid and complicated. So I try to give them grace. It has nothing to do with them. This has everything to do with a few men and a few women, white, who own all of our healthcare. From pharmacy benefits to insurance providers to medical care providers to the pharmaceutical companies. Owning all of those industries means that we are just used as little agents in a money game. And you could argue there's a benefit to this, that there's a centralization of data. But when you get down to it, we have no centralization. We're moving around from place to place to place to place, bouncing around like a pinball machine. And you want to tell me that this is centralized? This is the least centralized healthcare system you could imagine. And one company is not going to be able to centralize everyone. They want to have all 350 million people in the CVS world. Same thing with Apex, Epic data systems. It's not possible. You need a public infrastructure. And then if you want a fancy doctor, you can go do that. But you should never have to pay for healthcare. You should never have to feel like it's not a human right. You should always have access and fair access and easy access. It should be easy. It should be understandable. And it should not be privatized, and it should not be used for benefit and gain. That is not good. That is evil. And we deserve better. We deserve better. Human beings deserve better. We have industrialized and become so cool and smart and stuff. To anyone out there who's sick, I'm sorry. And I hope the pain goes away soon. And it won't last. Everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. And you are beautiful no matter what you look like, no matter what you feel. You are strong. You are healing every moment. And this life is about suffering, and it's about joy, and it's about both. So I hope you can find a little bit of both today. I don't want you to find suffering, but I just want us all to accept it a little bit more, you know? Because it's a reality for many people. And some of us are just in touch with that. So if you are loved, and you don't have to be in survival mode. We are healing each other. We're creating a new world. We don't need this infrastructure. We deserve better. We are creating better. Do not give up. This is the revolution. It will not die. We are here to stay.